Welcome to another video, and I'm going to get right into this video. I'm going to do a video on someone who sent me 2 comments to my inbox, to my YouTube channel, my YouTube account, my Google account. And these 2 comments are from someone by the name of Sag SJ50. So I'm gonna reply to both of his comments. I'm gonna reply to the first one that I'm gonna read right here, and it says here, New Manchester, I've been shot before, and I live in Canada. Stop using shootings as a point. Crime happens everywhere. You aren't even Canadian. Stop talking like you know what is happening. Well, how can I say this? Well, it's like this. Canada has very strict gun laws. The gun laws aren't loose up there like it is here in the US. Because in Canada, shootings don't happen all the time. Yeah. And, some shootings happen in Canada, as I heard. People smuggle guns into Canada from the US, and that led to that mass shooting in Nova Scotia. And I think I remember the Parliament shooting back around 2014. Someone went into Parliament Hill in Ottawa. I think it was a guy who he was. He went into the Parliament and started shooting. So shootings don't happen all the time. And he says he's been shot before. Okay, who shot you? I mean, did you accidentally shoot yourself when you went hunting? What? And yeah, I know crime happens everywhere. But what does that have to do with mass shootings? So, Sag SJ50's comment, it just, he's not making any sense. And he's accusing me of running around pretending like I know what's going on in Canada. Well, I got the internet, you moron. We all got the internet. I can go on YouTube. I can go on TuneIn Radio and watch and listen to what's going on in Canada. Yeah, and I heard about another freedom convoy that's taking place in Ottawa as we speak. It's called the Rolling Thunder. It's all these motorcyclists, and before that, I watched the Freedom Convoy. I watched live broadcast on YouTube by Canadian YouTubers, different ones. Yeah, I saw one in Kelowna, BC. Saw a blockage, the one where that blocked the Ambassador Bridge between Detroit, Michigan, and Windsor, Ontario. And I saw the blockage, I think, between some town in out in Alberta, close to the border. So basically, I know what's going on. I got the internet. I mean, what planet is this guy living in? I think Sag SJ50 is a child. Now I've been reading both of his comments. So I'm gonna go to the second one from him. Okay. Here's another one from Sag SJ50. New Manchester, bro, trust me, they aren't lying. Healthcare fucking blows where I live in Canada, even if it's free. I waited literally 14 hours in the waiting room, and many people have died in the waiting room where I live. Nurses just went on strike a few months ago for being severely underpaid, understaffed, overworked, and ill equipped. I only had to pay $29 for crutches, $0 for treatment, but someone else paid the rest with their taxes, with their tax money, since I was a minor. Yeah, he sounds like he's a kid. Um, yeah, okay, on the part that he said someone else paid the rest with their tax money since I was a minor. Well, yeah, if you're a child, if you live with your parents, you're going to school, you don't have a job. Yeah, I mean, it's your parents' responsibility to raise you and take care of you. And when you get sick, this is in a universal healthcare country, a country with, well, this is in countries with universal healthcare coverage. Well, if you live with your parents, if you're a child, minor, I mean, your parents take you to the hospital to get you treatment, or to a clinic. I mean, a doctor's office for health services, and they yeah they pay tax they pay for your taxes for your health care. Yeah, they pay for your health care through taxes for you. You don't have to pay taxes, but if you're on your own, if you're an adult, you have to pay taxes because you're an adult, you have a job, and you're working. So so I know what he's talking about. I already know that. And he talks about he waited 14 hours in the waiting room, and many people have died in the waiting room where he lives. So I don't know what province he lives. I don't know if it's just a bot slash troll or just an actual person. I don't know. But he's saying that, let's see, many people have died in the waiting room where I live. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna say this. I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard it. In some provinces in Canada, the healthcare is privatized, and and the Canadian healthcare system isn't fully universal because Canada's universal healthcare system is lacking some things. It lacks, I mean, dental, vision, hearing aids, farmer care, mental health. Um, it's not included into the system. And some people in Canada are complaining about it. And Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, the New Democratic Party, has talked about this a lot. And I've been watching the Canadian Parliament on CPAC on YouTube. Jagmeet Singh and his NDP party, and Justin Trudeau and his Liberal Party have merged together over a deal to include all of this into the healthcare system. But I think Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, they got into power and they haven't delivered on making all those things, dental, vision, hearing aid, mental health, farmer care, making it completely universal. Yeah, put all that into the system and make Canada's healthcare system completely universal. Because you look at other countries like the UK, France, and others, they have a universal healthcare system. The UK has the NHS. Um, their healthcare is fully universal, and Canada isn't. And I heard that someone who was the de facto leader of the Conservative Party in Canada Aaron O'Toole wanted to implement an American style healthcare system in Canada and disguising it as Canadians will have more choice. They'll have more choice. They'll have a lot of options. But actually the healthcare that he was going to implement on Canada if he becomes prime minister and his party becomes in power and he forms government, he's basically going to turn Canada's healthcare system into the healthcare system that the US has that will put Canada far down on the list where the US is of not having a universal healthcare system. So it sounds like to me I know what's going on in Canada because, like I said, I've been watching stuff on the internet about Canada. YouTube and TuneIn Radio. Also, I've been watching stuff. I also listen to stuff on TuneIn Radio overseas. On things like the BBC World Service. Things out of Australia, New Zealand. Yeah. So I've been I like to broaden my perspective on news, watch news in other countries, see what's going on in other countries and watching news that goes on in my country, Yeah, and also I've been hearing this the Roe v versus Wade thing is going to be overturned. And a woman's right to choose is threatened, through abortion being illegal, forcing a woman to carry the baby and give birth to the baby, and pro-life people are for this. I don't want to get into that, but I'll just talk about that. But yeah, this Roe v versus Wade thing is just not right. You got some conservative states are for this. You can't. These conservative states here in the U.S. they need to just butt out and keep their nose out of the business of a woman. Because it's none of their business what a woman does. Like if she doesn't want to have the baby, if she wants to terminate the pregnancy, so be it. You got these conservative states and these conservative people / pro-life people. They care about life inside the woman. But when that life is born, they don't care about that life. They just turn around and cut programs for that life to survive on. So how can you be pro-life? How can these pro-life people be pro-life and they care about the life inside the woman, but when that life leaves that woman, after that woman gives birth to that life, they stop caring about that life and they turn around and cut programs for that life to survive on. It doesn't make any sense to me. And Sag SJ50, he lives in Canada. He doesn't have to worry. Him and everybody in that country don't have to worry about the garbage, the horrible stuff that's going on here in the U.S. Healthcare here in America, healthcare is privatized. Is a for-profit healthcare system. It's a pay-to-play system. If you want healthcare services, you gotta pay for it out of your pocket. You gotta go through if your health insurance, everything else is the same. People. He want to talk about people have died in the waiting room where he lives in Canada or what province he lives in. Nova Scotia, Nouvelle-Écosse, British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, Quebec, Newfoundland, and Labrador, wherever he lives. He wants to talk about people people are dying in the waiting queue where he lives in Canada. Well, have you been to a waiting room in the U.S.? If you went to a doctor's office or a hospital or a clinic in the U.S., have you been to one of those in the U.S.? I mean, in those waiting rooms in America are filled to the brim with dead bodies of people who lack health insurance, who are waiting to get health care and can't afford it. That doesn't go on in Canada at all. So, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. He won't talk about health care fucking blows where he lives. Well, if you don't like the province that you live in, move. Well, sounds like he's a child and he lives with his parents. So, yeah, he just sounds like a kid. But yeah, I think I responded to him and he didn't respond back to me. So, it's funny, these people up there in Canada, some of them that whine and complain about their country, say how bad their country is. You won't talk about bad. Come to the U.S. Come here to America. You're going to see how bad things are here. You're going to see how bad things are here. You be praying to go back to Canada. Trust me. Come here. All right? But I'm not pro-Canada and I'm not pro-U.S. Because, at the end of the day, I look at both countries and both of them suck. They're garbage. But, I look at the U.S. Even though the U.S. sucks, but, the United States, it's a country that has a lot of potential, and I think America just needs politicians to make things better for regular, ordinary, everyday people. But America doesn't have that. Just like, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. The Republican Party are a bunch of heartless assholes who care nothing about regular, everyday people. They don't care. I mean, they fill people's heads up with propaganda, lies, and BS. And all they care about is corporations, millionaires and billionaires, and huge multinational corporations. That's who they care about. And the Democratic Party are weak. They're pathetic. They don't stand up to the Republicans and call them out on their BS. And they don't go and do things to help people. And I mean, the Democratic Party knows better. They should be fighting for everyday people, but they don't. They don't do anything. And and I watched a video. I watched a video that blew up on Twitter of Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks. She just ripped into the Democrats. She just ripped into the Republicans. She just ripped them to pieces. She's so passionate, I don't like Anna Kasparian, and I don't care for her, but she laid it all out. And she spoke the truth. And Seg SJ50 needs to go on YouTube and watch Anna Kasparian and what she's had to say about politicians from both parties here in the U.S. Yeah. Let me ask you something, Seg SJ50. You want to complain about the health care in your country blows, right? Okay? You said that you waited literally 14 hours in the waiting room and many people have died. Well, try that here in the U.S. because that sounds like something that will happen in the U.S. Because the way I heard it, people dying under under the healthcare system, under the universal healthcare system in Canada, the number of people who are died, zero. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, going to what SAG SJ50 said about nurses just went on strike a few months ago for being severely underpaid, understaffed, overworked, and ill-equipped. Well, you know, I'm not the Prime Minister of Canada, but I'm gonna say this. Well, I think nurses. I think I'll make it where nurses should be paid more. Okay, understaffed. Okay, bring in more nurses and doctors. Overworked. Okay, overworked. There's nothing I can do about that because the healthcare system is working hard during this pandemic. I think the pandemic is still going. And ill-equipped. Okay, bring in more equipment. Bring in more equipment and hospital beds. So yeah, you know, yeah, universal health care, it has its problems. It's not perfect, but there's room for improvements. There's room for improvements. Just like any other country that has universal health care. So, just improve the system. But here in the US, I live in a country that doesn't have universal health care. And it's just a crying shame that America, the United States of America, the most richest country in the world, doesn't guarantee health care to everybody. Doesn't have a universal health care plan for its citizens. It just has a healthcare system that just benefits the wealthy and just screws the poor. Price gouge, screwing the poor left and right, just price gouging the poor and screwing the poor left and right. But Seg SJ50, he doesn't have to worry about that. If he thinks healthcare in his province that he lives in or anywhere in Canada that he lives in, well, okay, if the Canadian healthcare system fucking blows, as he likes to put it, or in a province that he lives in, well, you can move to another province. If you think that the healthcare system in Canada fucking blows, leave Canada and move to the US. But if you move here, you ain't gonna like it here. Because the healthcare in America is nothing like the healthcare up there in Canada. Nothing like it. It's a different animal. It's a different beast. Oh, and also I heard about in British Columbia that province in Canada has the worst wait times. So wait times there are pretty bad. So yeah, I heard about that on City News in Vancouver on TuneIn Radio. British Columbia has one of the worst wait times in all of Canada. So that province has the worst wait times. And yeah, like I said before, there's room for improvements on the wait times. There's improvements. There's always improvements. So, even though I don't live in Canada, even though I'm not Canadian, I'm an American, but I have the right to go online and see what goes on in other countries. I have that right. But I guess I mean to Canadians, some Canadians who chew me out over their country. I guess they saying that, oh, it's none of your business what goes on in our country. A lot of, and one Canadian told me this, like people in Canada, like they're so quick to bash other countries and they act like their country is perfect. But you got some people in that country who complain about the wait times in the healthcare system. They complain, and they say that the healthcare blows. They complain all the time because that's a Canadian thing. Canadians complain about their healthcare, but they don't have to worry about experiencing what goes on in the healthcare here in the U.S. So. And also, I'm fully aware, going back to this, I am fully aware that crime happens everywhere. And mass shootings that happen a lot in the US is a problem. America has a gun problem. Too many people own guns. People own more guns because there's more guns than people here. And this country is swimming in guns because you got loose gun laws, and you got a bunch of gun nuts in the NRA who just bow down to the U.S. Constitution, the Second Amendment in the Constitution. These people here in America have this bizarre, weird obsession, this ridiculous obsession with the U.S. Constitution. All is just a crumbling old piece of paper that the founding fathers and slave owners put together, because that U.S. Constitution, it just benefits white people. It doesn't benefit Native Americans and black people. Did it benefit Native Americans when their land was taken away? Was stolen from them, and they were killed off by, a lot of them were killed off by war and diseases, and they were shoved onto Indian reservations. Does the U.S. Constitution apply to them? Does the U.S. Constitution apply to black people who were put in slavery, and they went through 400 years of slavery, and they went through racism today by racist white people? I mean, does the U.S. Constitution benefits black Americans, African Americans? No, it doesn't. So yeah, the U.S. Constitution is just a crumbling old piece of paper that was created by colonists and slave owners. That's right. That's right. America has a gun problem, like I said, because of a bunch of gun nuts and patriots who, and Americans and conservatives who talk about freedom, full freedom. And they have this bizarre obsession with dead men in a piece of paper. The piece of paper is the U.S. Constitution, and the dead men are the founding fathers. The founding fathers. They always bring up the founding fathers. I mean, these guys been dead for like 200 plus years. You got these politicians from both parties who, notably the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, did just bring up the founding fathers in the U.S. Constitution. It's kind of weird to me. Like, who cares about these people? How about bringing in gun control? How about improving lives of poor people here in America? I think people who own a lot of guns, who love guns here in the U.S., are just completely insane. And, arming teachers with guns doing a mass shooting, it's stupid and it doesn't make any sense. Freedom, 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 full freedom. Whatever. So, there's some people in Canada who agree with me on this. There's some who don't agree with me on that, but I don't care. You know. And I guess he's just saying this just to put me to shame. It's probably, and this is from some comment that I put down a long, long, long time ago, because a lot of people are so goddamn stupid here on YouTube. They just see a comment, they get triggered by it, and they go and comment it out of anger. And they don't see how old that comment is. Like that comment I put down about like 2 or 3 years old comment, or months and months ago. Yeah, you know, you know, these trolls here on YouTube, all they are a bunch of children. That's all they are. They're just a bunch. There's a bunch of lollipop sucking crybabies who hide behind a computer screen and just type away to make themselves look big and bad. Just say what they want to say. Just want to say something just to anger someone, just to put someone to shame. It's just literally ridiculous. Like, you know, I'm busy in my life. I don't have time to go back and forth with some child from another country, or from here in the US, or from any other country in the world. I don't got time for that. Speaking of Seg SJ50, it's probably a 9-year-old girl, a 9-year-old lollipop sucking girl who plays with My Little Pony dolls and whatever little girls play with nowadays. Children. Oh my god. Seg SJ50, you got a lot to learn. You got a lot to learn. And by the way, universal health care isn't free health care. It's called universal health care. It's free to the point of service, and it's paid for through taxes. You don't have to worry about it because it's there for you. It's available to you and everybody, regardless of income. If you think that healthcare system blows, or if it fucking blows, as you like to put it, come to the US. Move to any state here in America. Because the healthcare here, the healthcare in the United States of America, fucking blows. Alright. That's all I gotta say in this video. Merci. Merci beaucoup.